Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Marlies, Marley Design, and today it is Thursday morning for me. Today I will record a new video for you. And what do I have here? For the ones that have watched my video a couple of days ago, I created this background. I totally surprised myself with the result, and it right away made me think, what can and will I do with this background paper? It is obvious the paper is not like very large. That already means I have to think small. And I came out to an extra large paper clip that I would like to turn into a paper embellishment. The first thing that I will do when I see a paper like this is to imagine what kind of style or vibe I get from this. I can already see this is not kind of a romantic, shabby, chic kind of paper. This paper leans more towards the a little bit more darker side because of the dark undertones in the background. And when I look at the alphabet, it could match more of a theme like industrial or steampunk, a little bit more bold. So that was my first step. The feeling that I get from this paper leans more towards the industrial style. Step 2 for me is to imagine what kind of materials you will see in an industrial style. And then you can think of maybe gears, male portraits, rulers, numbers, maybe hardware heads. So what I will do right now is I will gather some supplies, and of course I do not know if I'm going to use them because I'm putting it on my table for inspiration. So I can use it, but I do not have to use it. Okay, I just went into my supplies and storage boxes and I came up with this. I have a basic paper, a leftover piece of mixed media paper, and I already made it into the exact size of the width of the paper clip. And you can see it is a leftover paper because this is still on from the binding, but I will leave that on because that is the reason why I chose the paper. I like this effect. Then of course I will use this paper, a piece of it, that will go on top of my basic paper. And I also got out these vintage design tapes from Holtz from the Ideology line. And I have chosen these design tapes because I think they will look industrial and vintage. Here you can see I have some metal embellishments like a clip, safety pin, those little metal plates with numbers, hardware heads, a butterfly, a quote. I will put it all in front of me to give myself some ideas and inspiration while I am creating the XL paperclip embellishment. I do not want to cover my whole basic white paper with this paper, so I'm going to cut out a strip so I can glue it on one of the sides of the white paper. I have cut the strip of paper. In just a moment I will glue it onto this white paper, but you can see on the bottom this is quite white. I do not want that. I want it more matching with our colors in here. First I will spray this piece of paper with Distress Spray Stain Scorched Timber. The strip of paper is glued down. We have colored the bottom, but now you can see this is very white. I want that to be covered, and I will do that with the vintage design tape from Holtz. This is what we have so far, but I would also like to add some kind of a fabric or ribbon or something, and also in the same colors that I already used. I have found a piece of, it's a strip of linen, a lightweight linen. I will color the linen with the Distress Spray Stain Scorched Timber. I would like to stitch along all sides of my paper, but when you put your, well, in this case it is linen, when you put your fabric behind, you can stitch it along. I did the stitching all around, but this is too neat to my liking. So I'm going to try to fray out the fabric by, just pulling on those threads. I just took a little break for myself on videotaping, so I could dive into my stash and search for some items that I think would be matching this project. I found some red thread. I have cut some pieces of the linen that we just colored. I have a red label out of the Tim Holtz Ideology snippet packs, and you can see I have cut it in half. I also have a little snippet on top here. Out of the snippet pack number strips, I have one of the metal quotes, a metal butterfly, and this guy came out of the paper doll package from Halloween. These materials are not ready yet. I want to color the pieces of metal. I want to ink up my pieces of ephemera and paper doll. So that is what I will do first. After that I will assemble everything. I will start by coloring my metals. I got out my Distress Paint Lumberjack Plaid and my alcohol ink Espresso and alcohol ink Everglades. I will start with the alcohol ink and I will drop some of the ink droplets on top of my metals. I do not like the color combination of my metals in combination with the papers that I already used. So yeah, I have to change something so it will be like matching and it will give a cohesive look. So yeah, let me think for a moment on what I can do right now to fix this. I will start over again with a basic layer of paint, the Distress Paint Scorched Timber. I will not let the paint fully dry. I will let it air dry for a small amount of time and then I will spray it with my water bottle sprayer. To achieve an effect of contrast, contrast is about dark areas and lighter areas, and yeah, we already have a dark base. So that means if you want to add contrast or create contrast, we need a lighter color for those raised areas, I think. So let's find out together if I can achieve that effect with the Distress Paint Picket Fence. this whole process is mostly about trying, trial and error also, and putting on layer after layer after layer, because mostly with this kind of products and the result that you are looking for is not achievable with only 2 layers of mediums. So the only thing I could say to advise you is just keep going on the products, on the layers, until you are happy with the result. It is all about trying and trying. Before I assemble everything, I would like to tell you, and I did not record that I put on an extra layer on the raised areas of the quote and also on the butterfly with my Distress Paint Vintage photo. I did it in the same manner that you see me do before, so I'm tapping my fingers in the paint, get rid of any excess or blobs, and then dab it on top of those raised areas. And for now, this is the result. I will start with assembling, and first one that goes down is the guy. I will not glue him down in total because I need some space over here because I want to add like the small number underneath his leg. So I will glue the back of him except for his leg. The second item that I will glue down is the butterfly, because it is a set spot that I want him on. I want the butterfly exactly underneath his hand, so it will look like he is holding the butterfly. I have already put some of the red thread over here, and I will glue that underneath the butterfly. Now I also have the right placement for my quote, because I want the quote underneath the butterfly, and because this one is already glued down, now we know where we want the quote, right underneath. First I had one strip of the colored linen, but I decided to cut it into half and made some cuts into those 2 strips, and now I will place them a little bit on top and offset of each other, so my quote can go on top of here. Of course, I would also like to add some of the red thread, and my number, my snippets number, will go in between the layers. Also, for my top embellishment, I changed my mind. First I had this piece of label, half of a label, but I thought it was too big, a little bit too wide. So I went for a piece of fabric, and then I chose this label. It is more small, more narrow, and I think it will fill up this space in a better way. On this piece of label I would like a remnant drop. These are the Tim Holtz Ideology Remnant Drops Specimen, and I think I will go for a number. So let me search one and add it to the label. I also made a little change on this metal quote. You know, the holes on the left and the right. I thought I could glue down maybe some hardware heads or something, but I changed my mind. So I took the quote off and I have added 2 breadths on the left and the right, and now I will glue it back down onto the label. Now let's move on to our paperclip. You can see it's quite silvery colored, not very aged or worn. What I will do to create a more vintage look, I will go back into my alcohol inks and I will put some drops of the ink on top of my paperclip. Okay, so this label is done and also the paper clip is done. It is colored, but I was still missing something. And then when you take a good look at this label, some colors will pop out more than others and some colors I have used repeatedly. What I can see is the red in the label. I have used a red thread, and also on this side in the tape you can see the color red. Now what was I missing? You see this gap over here and a little bit of a gap over here. I want something to be there, a little bit of filling. And that filling has to draw your eyes into this project, so it will create more interest. And you will never guess what a simple piece of just red colored paper will do. This is what we have right now. And this is what a piece of red paper will do. It will bring your project more to the front. And there is a popping color that immediately catches your eyes. On that red piece of paper I will use this Stampset Faded Type CMS 397, and I will not go for an alphabet because of course we already have an alphabet in our background paper, so my choice will be something with numbers. And because we work with the Distress Ink Scorched Timber throughout this whole project, I will use it again for my stamp and also on the edges of my red piece of paper. The red paper is glued to the back and the paper clip is attached. And that means this project is finished. What I think is worth talking about is that we created this piece because of this piece of paper. This paper was the inspiration to eventually make this. And a lot of times I think that is crazy that you can get inspired and get a vibe from a paper, and then your imagination takes over and that you can see what can go with it material-wise, color-wise. I have said it before, but I will say it again and I will explain it. Take a good look at your papers because the papers are telling you what you can do with it, what kind of vibe you can create. They already offer you a color scheme, or they already offer you the size of your project, depending on the size of the background paper that you are using. For me, there is a whole lot of information in just one piece of paper. I had a lot of fun creating this and working with all the different kind of materials and colors. I hope you enjoyed yourself too in this video. When you do, please like, subscribe or comment down below. And for the ones that are wondering what kind of products I have used, I will put all the products in the description box below for you to check out. Also in my description box are my social media links and the link to my coffee shop. There is nothing more to say than only happy crafting everybody and have a great day. Bye!